Nigeria, it's another great outing on Newsline this Sunday. I am Becky Madujamu. Thanks for joining us. Now, several updates are ready for your information. The story of an underage domestic staff who was attacked many times by the couple she worked for will continue this week, as well as the outcome of police investigations on the incidents of rape and serial killings in Oyo State. On that note, a crowd of suspected criminals was paraded by the police command in Port Harcourt. There are chilling accounts about their involvement in court-related murders. Apart from crime, we are taking a look at what some corporate organizations are doing to support government in containing the spread of coronavirus in Nigeria. Please stay with us for the entire duration of the program. See you after the news by Claire Adilabu Abdurazak.
Becky, and welcome to Abuja for the news. Now, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, says all mechanisms have been put in place to ensure direct allocation of COVID-19 palliatives and fertilizers to farmers affected by floods across the country. The minister stated this while inspecting warehouses where the products are kept for onward distribution to beneficiaries in Gusau, Zamfara State. Here is Ilyasu Ali Yakubu with the rest of the report.
130,000 vulnerable households in Zamfara State are currently benefiting from the federal government conditional cash transfer of 5,000 naira monthly as COVID-19 lockdown palliative. The Humanitarian Affairs Minister commended Zamfara State government for providing an enabling environment for the smooth conduct of the exercise. She said already more than 130 trailer loads of grains have been delivered to the state to cushion the effects of COVID-19 lockdown, in addition to other empowerment programs being executed in the state.
This is what the federal government is doing. We have brought these palliatives, and we have also brought other interventions to the state to cushion this effect to support the poor and the vulnerable.
Zamfara State has in recent times been experiencing bandit attacks that resulted in the death and displacement of its citizens, as well as destruction of property worth billions of naira. From Gusau in Zamfara State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
And reports by the World Health Organization, WHO, indicates that a daily record increase in coronavirus cases as global death toll from the virus surpassed 600,000, just estimated to bring source a review of the pandemic in the past week.
More than 600,000 persons have died from coronavirus globally, and the world has also seen the largest single-day increase in COVID-19 cases. The World Health Organization says cases rose by 260,000 in 24 hours. The agency said this is the first time the number of new cases surpassed 250,000. And in Australia, authorities are stepping up their fight against coronavirus, announcing the introduction of mandatory face coverings from Wednesday, July 22. It is the first time masks have been made compulsory in the country, with a fine for non-compliance. Now, this is coming as Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam announced that coronavirus cases are spreading out of control in the territory. Non-essential workers are expected to work from home. Statistics published by Worldometer as at 6 p.m. local time says there are now 14,518,531 cases worldwide, with 606,625 fatalities. Now, these figures show an increase of more than 1.5 million new cases and 37,000 new deaths in 1 week. Meanwhile, Africa's caseload has crossed 700,000. 15,009 deaths have been recorded across the continent, and 371,184 patients have recovered. Cases in Africa rose by 124,878, with 1,966 new deaths during the week. Back Back in Nigeria, coronavirus cases have exceeded 36,000. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control said 778 deaths have been recorded, while 14,938 persons have recovered. In the past week, Nigeria recorded a cumulative sum of 4,120 new cases, while a total of 1,835 patients were discharged. And that's a global update on COVID-19. Thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometu.
And Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyeama has, via his Twitter handle, confirmed that so far a total of 93 Nigerians in Europe have been repatriated in the evacuation exercise coordinated by the Embassy of Nigeria in France in cooperation with Nigerian missions in Germany, Belgium, Holland and Hungary. In the tweet, Onyeama says the evacuees are Nigerians in France, Hungary, Romania, Poland, Norway, Germany, Holland, UK and Canada. All passengers tested negative before boarding. Meanwhile, the Foreign Affairs Minister in a separate tweet says he is heading for isolation in a health facility and praying for the best, having tested positive to coronavirus after the fourth test on Saturday at the first sign of a throat irritation. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari is wishing the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyeama, quick recovery as he goes into isolation after testing positive to COVID-19. In a statement, President Buhari describes the minister as a strong pillar of his administration and commends him for tirelessly working to stem the spread of coronavirus in the country as a member of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 while ensuring the safety of Nigerians abroad. The country, the President says, is eternally grateful to the Foreign Affairs Minister for his diligence in attracting international support to Nigeria to defeat the coronavirus pandemic and boost the economy. And in other stories now, the APC in Edo State has accused the state government of its involvement in the removal of the party's outdoor billboards and campaign posters at various locations in Benin metropolis. Uduak Obong Achibong was at the press briefing where the allegation was made.
National Vice Chairman, National Campaign Council, Media and Communications for the Edo 2020 election, Patrick Obayagbon, who described the incident as unfortunate, alleged that it occurred on 16th July 2020 through a Edo State signage advertising agency, which according to the party, the agency is unknown to the laws of Edo State.
We have submitted a petition to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Johnson Babatunde Kokumo, and we will forward the same to INEC. We will nonetheless stop at nothing to ensure that the rule of law prevails in our state.
The chairman subcommittee on outdoor and media campaign of the APC, Chris Azebawa, later took newsmen round the areas of the incident.
This is a new development in political campaigns. It is repressive, it's undemocratic, it's unheard of.
Members of the public also commented on the removal of the APC campaign materials.
This morning, I didn't see this poster and I was asking her, how come? What happened to this poster? They were saying, people have removed it. I said, for what? For what? This is not the way to play politics. We are not happy. We are not happy at all. They should return this picture here.
The locations of the destroyed signages: Uselushe Junction, Lawani Junction by New Lagos Road, Mission Road Junction by New Benin, among others. Meanwhile, the special advisor to the governor on media and communication strategy, Crusoe Osagi, says the allegation by the APC that Edo State government removed its campaign materials in some parts of Benin is false.
These are false allegations. They are just cheap steps to try to score political points. The government is solid. Our candidates are solid. The party is solid. And we are convinced and we're certain that we're going to win the elections on September 19th.
Both the APC and PDP have commenced campaigns since the lifting of ban on campaigns by INEC in June. In Benin, Uduak Obong Achibong, NTA News.
And from Anambra State comes this report that the Council of Traditional Rulers has commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the developmental progress going on in the southeast. The traditional leaders in a meeting convened by elder statesman Prince Arthur Eze said the southeast has not had it so good in terms of infrastructure development for many years now. Uchenna Mwekoyo has the details.
The east part of Nigeria no doubt has contributed immensely towards the socio-economic development of the nation. But some opinion leaders in the zone believe the region is not getting a fair share in terms of infrastructural development and resource control. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is changing the narrative by executing various developmental projects in the zone, especially those abandoned by previous administrations. These include ongoing repairs at the Akani Biam International Airport, Enugu, ongoing construction of Second Niger Bridge, Onitsha-Enugu Expressway, among other projects in the zone. This meeting of all traditional rulers in Anambra State, convened by Prince Arthur Eze, is to highlight these achievements by the present administration. The royal fathers are excited with this project, which they believe will open up a vista for development in the region. For the elder statesman Prince Arthur Eze, President Buhari is a detribalized Nigerian who means well for all.
He gave us one of the best roads in Africa, Enugu-Onitsha Road. And they also want to beg him to build Onitsha seaport for the Igbos who are the importers.
All the traditional rulers in Anambra State decided to come together to discuss their internal affairs and also to pass a resolution and support the President and Commander-in-Chief.
From Ukulu in Dunukofia local government area of Anambra State, Uchenna Mwekoyo, NTA News.
And the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed says Nigeria has one of the best implementation models for the Sustainable Development Goals SDGs. Speaking on NTA's program Late Edition, the UN Deputy Secretary General notes, however, that the model will require national ownership and global partnership to succeed.
So I think we have the best roadmap that works both locally and globally. But it has to come together because many developing countries right now don't have the resources for the level of poverty and inequality that we're seeing, and for the level of resources that are needed for investing in infrastructure which will allow that to happen. And this is where the call for greater partnerships is required. We have a roadmap, and this is what should be supported by everyone, from the local governments to state governments, the country, its parliaments, civil society, and business.
On her part, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulire, says funding of the 2030 Development Agenda remains a major challenge for the country.
We're discussing that, how to institutionalize the financing framework to see how we can then get more domestic resource mobilization, funding from the donors and partners, and of course international funding to put together to ensure that this agenda is well implemented and accelerated.
And in a renewed onslaught against cult activities, 680 suspected cultists have been apprehended within 7 months in Akwa Ibom State alone. Now, while disclosing this to NTA News, the State Commissioner of Police, Iwomi Edgar, said 430 of them are currently facing trial in various courts across the state. Here is Clement Barkwi with the rest of the report.
Increasing cases of cult activities in part of Akwa Ibom State, including primary and secondary schools, propelled Governor Dom Emmanuel to sign an order proscribing 51 cult groups early in the year. The police took it from there and has been re-strategizing to end the scourge of cultism. Apart from strengthening and re-equipping the anti-cultism unit of the force, the State Police Command is building a strong intelligence gathering base through the community policing advisory committees.
Based on intelligence, arrested well over 680 cultists. 430 of whom are currently being prosecuted. I have also not spared my policemen who have been confirmed, who have as cultists. You recall that I dismissed one who was confirmed to be a cultist, reduced one in rank for aiding and abetting cultism.
Esireket local government area has had its own share of these cult activities, and this explains the people's excitement over the inauguration of the local government community policing advisory committee.
It is a responsibility that we must live to expectation.
With the inauguration, the people are upbeat that cultism and other crimes will soon reduce. From Esireket, Clement Barquin, NTA News.
And the report just in now says that the presidency wishes to respond to a number of opinion articles and stringent newspaper editorial this Sunday, which outrageously said President Muhammadu Buhari was not in control of his administration. In a statement signed by the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president says that sometimes we are forced to wonder whether some writers are mindful of the implication of words for the strategic and territorial interests of the nation. The statement further adds that an entrenched culture of dissent in our country is not something that anyone, not least a Buhari presidency, wants to stamp down. The fact that these baseless and appalling mischievous attacks can freely be aired is itself evidence of the right to freedom of expression prevailing in the country. The statement further adds that these detractors pick up isolated issues like the ones in the EFCC, NDDC, and incidents of crime and corruption, which have been with the country for years and without any serious effort to uncover them, and paints them a phenomena orchestrated and happening because President Buhari's administration has decided to pursue cases of suspected wrongdoing in the anti-corruption agenda, pension funds, NDDC, and other governmental agencies. And the statement also adds that the war against corruption is today at historic crossroads. This is the time all Nigerians should stand together to roll it back. President Buhari is determined not to be diverted by unfounded attacks, neither will he compromise the sacred mandate of Nigerians. The statement adds that the president is determined to get justice for Nigerians on all these corruption cases being pursued. And now in other stories, the Federal Road Safety Corps has condemned the unruly attack by a tricycle operator in Benin, Edo State, on an officer of the Corps on patrol operations and damaged the patrol vehicle. In a statement, the Corps Marshal Dr. Boboyo Yemi expressed displeasure at the incessant abuse of personnel and damage to its property across its formations nationwide. He, however, commends the patriotic citizens that assisted in arresting the criminal and has also ordered the prosecution of the perpetrator of that crazy act of humiliation and recklessness on law enforcement agents. He, however, reminded members of the public that law enforcement agents serve the common interest of the general public and deserve to be respected and not humiliated in the course of their duty. And President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with former Minister of Police Affairs, General David Jemi-Benwo, on his 80th birthday. A statement by his media advisor, Femi Adesina, says the celebrant played many pivotal roles in shaping the nation's history, both in the private and public sectors. The president prays that the Almighty God continue to bless the former governor of the defunct Western State and former Minister of Police Affairs with good health and strength to keep serving the nation. The All Progressives Congress national leader Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has described the announcement of social crusader, journalist and publisher of Premium Times, Mr. Dagbo Olorunyomi, who emerged one of the 3 winners of this year's International Press Freedom Award of the prestigious Committee for the Protection of Journalists as a befitting reward for his untiring service to Nigeria and to people-centered journalism. A statement by Tinubu Media Office indicates that the former Lagos governor also commended Olorunyomi for deploying the constitutional obligations of the press as the fourth estate of the realm to hold the leadership accountable to the people. And in sports, Chelsea defeated Manchester United 3-1 on Sunday night in the semi-finals of the English FA Cup, now setting up a final clash with Arsenal. Now, away from football, Amasi Marcos reports that Nigeria's flag could be flying again in Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Another history will be made